Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to No Name Gaming. My name is Alex Light here at Racing Lights Productions, your home for sim racing. We are live at the virtual Langley Speedway for the American Motorsports Association's Langley 150. After an unexpected week off last week, we get back to traditional short tracks here tonight. We are headed to the 0.4-mile track in Hampton, Virginia. This track might be one of the more challenging ones to drive this season due to its lack of banking. Langley sports only 6-degree banking in the corners and 4-degree banking on the short straights. The straights are barely long enough to get the wheels straight as well. Our last race, back at Rockingham Speedway, we had our second Dash for Cash, which was won by Colin Ullman, his second straight win and third of the season. That helped him get up to 11th in the points, but still not enough to get him to the top 10 since he has only started in half the races this season. Trevor Edwards still holds a strong 71-point lead over Aaron Johnson with Dylan Williams closely behind in third. Leon Kennison and Spencer Dickinson round out the top 5 in points. Looking ahead to the remainder of the season, looking ahead at the remainder of the season, we have a few tracks we have yet to visit this season, with many tracks that we are headed to for the second time. Next week, we visit South Boston during the day, followed by the short triangle of Concord. Then we go back to Southern National for a night race there. Then we go down to Florida for Five Flags, and we will stay in-state going to New Smyrna for the first and only time this season, before we wrap things up at the birthplace of NASCAR stars, the Hickory Motor Speedway, for what will be an exciting night race. We also have our final Dash for Cash race, as you can see at Concord. So next week's race at South Boston, and yes, the dates are a little off, but our next race at South Boston will be the qualifier for that Dash for Cash race at Concord. But that is the schedule looking forward. So just over a month left in the season, about a month and a half. So things getting very, very close to the end. It's been some exciting short track racing. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. It's been a blast being able to cover it and bring it to all of you. We are getting ready to grid up, though. A rather small field tonight. Only 7 drivers able to take the grid. So we'll see how these 7 drivers all fare, though, because they are some really strong runners. We've got Trevor Edwards, Colin Ullman, Justin Crowe, Dylan Williams, Braxton Deweese, Cade Green, and Aaron Johnson. So some of them are front runners. I will actually believe all of them are top 10 in points. Yes, they are all top 10 in points. So we will see how they fare here tonight with a smaller field. It's going to be really interesting to see how they drive, how they approach the track, how they decide to go about it, because this track is going to be all about trying to save those tires. You have to use a lot of the car to get in on corner. You don't want to get off too hard on exit, otherwise you're going to burn up those rear tires. But it looks like we are ready to go through our starting grid here for tonight. Do a rundown. Maybe not. That we are finishing up the warm-up. My apologies. Thought we were ready. Not quite yet. We'll get that in just a moment. Hopefully you guys have been having a good start to the week here on Tuesday. If you missed Sunday night, definitely should go check out the OMA VRC Talladega race, the Alabama 250. That is their third race of the playoffs. It was a very exciting race. The third closest finish in OMA VRC history. Very, very close finish by 4 thousandths of a second, separating first and second place. Now that we're ready to go, let's take a look at our starting lineup here for tonight. Pretty short field, unfortunately, but it's sure to provide some intense racing still. So we have... Give me 1 second. There we go. We've got your pole sitter of Trevor Edwards, your points leader, alongside, separated by not even 1,000th of a second, Colin Ullman. In third place, you've got Justin Crowe by 4 thousandths of a second, so it's going to be really intense racing up front, it looks like. Then Dylan Williams, just 53 hundredths behind, with Braxton Deweese. Then Aaron Johnson not putting in a lap time followed by Cade Green, also opting to not put in a lap time. So we've got 150 laps here tonight around Langley. And it's going to be a fight for the bottom. Don't be surprised to see drivers using that apron as that banking. Not really much, as you can see, just looking like here at this corner, at the view of the exit of turn 2, how shallow that banking is. So the driver's going to try and use every inch of this track. And that apron is definitely going to be fair game as long as you come off of turn 3 and turn 4, and you don't hit the apron there, the pit entry. Just got to be very careful there at that point. Lights on the pace truck are off, though. We are going to get ready to go green flag racing. Trevor Edwards, your pole sitter, going to be ready to go green on. Once the pace truck is off, the field is in his hands. Taking a look, Barney the flag man. We are green flag racing for the Langley 150. Lap 1 out of the way. Trevor Edwards, your race leader, with Colin Allman behind. Then you've got Justin Crowe, Dylan Williams, Braxton DeWeese, Aaron Johnson, and Cade Green rounding out the field. There's going to be a lot of patience here, and that's something we've seen throughout these races. Drivers being very patient early on in the race, just getting into the groove, trying to see what they've got for long run pace. Again, no sets of tires throughout the run. What you start on is what you've got to finish the race. You've got to take care of your stuff as you go. And you see Trevor Edwards trying to stay off that apron early on. He's riding on the racing surface. Not really running down low. You can see Colin Allman peeking down into the apron a little bit, trying to see what he can get in terms of grip down there. And you can see a little bit further back, even some other drivers trying to see if they can sport that apron a little bit, maybe try and get some extra grip, but a lot of drivers really focusing on that racing surface right now. And throughout this field, looks like we're spreading out just a tiny bit. Trevor Edwards starting to pull away a tad. Same with Colin Allman, Justin Crowe then the next car in line. He's got the Sparko 24 of Dylan Williams right on his tail there from Justin Crowe. See Aaron Johnson trying to take a peek there in the mac and cheese car. Trying to see if maybe he can find a way to the inside of Braxton DeWeese. So far, lots of patience being shown from drivers. Very early to try and make aggressive moves, trying to make big dives. You don't want to bring out the caution right now. They're doing a really good job just keeping their stuff clean. Big moves will surely come later, as right now it just looks like a bit of a train. You can see Braxton DeWeese. He's opting for a little bit of a different line right there. Ooh, Justin Crowe gonna get passed by Dylan Williams. Gets sent to the outside. And let's go take a look here real quick what happened there with Justin Crowe going into turn 3. Coming off the exit of turn 2, it just seems like, yeah, just didn't get as good of a run out there. Allowed Dylan Williams to get to that inside on the backstretch. That moves him up a spot into what is now 3rd place. Sorry, Dylan Williams now to 2nd place as he worked his way around Colin Allman. The big moves here for Williams as he's trying to hunt down Trevor Edwards. Now within 0.2 of a second of the points leader of the season. We'll see if he can continue to hunt him down. He's got some really good pace. We haven't seen this kind of pace from Dylan Williams really since the Hickory race. You see him get to the inside, and that's going to be the race lead here for Dylan Williams, and he runs away with it here, extending that lead to about a half a second just through half the track. So he's feeling it right now. That car really in the groove of things. Those tires have heated up really nicely for the 24. We'll see if he can hold on to that race lead. Taking a look throughout the field, Aaron Johnson now moves himself into 4th place. Gonna see if he can catch up to Colin Allman and work his way onto the podium. Hopping on board with Cade Green, you can get a look at how this track runs. Here, the drivers really have to wait to get down on throttle. A lot different than some of the tracks we have been running. Rockingham, kind of like a small super speedway, with tracks like Southern National and North Wilkesboro. It's a lot of heavy throttle. You're not really off throttle too long, just a lot to get the car to rotate on entry. But here, you really have to nurse that throttle and really try to get that car down to the bottom to get that rotation. If not, you'll see like we just had in front here, Colin Allman working his way around Trevor Edwards, and that gap now is massive. Over 1.5 seconds from Dylan Williams back to Colin Allman. It is quite the strong lead that he's got right now. Taking a look at Colin Allman. Go take a look here at the lap time difference between him and Dylan Williams. You can just see how much Dylan Williams is extending this lead. He has really got that car on lock here tonight, gaining anywhere between 1 to 2 tenths of a lap. It's absolutely insane the pace that he's got right now in that 24. But the question is it too much? Is he pushing the car too hard? Then he's going to burn up his stuff, because we are still very early on in this race. Crossing the line, that is lap 21 done. We are on to lap 22. 150 laps to go throughout this race, so lots of racing still to be had. And anything can happen in this long stretch of time. Got a little bit further back, you got Cade Green trying to see if he can move himself up to 4th place. Can't quite get a look on the inside, and the big thing is all about setting up your moves, and you can see there some drivers opting for a wider entry to see if they can get that later apex, carrying more speed off the exit. We saw Dylan Williams do that a little bit. You can see the apron getting used a little there from Cade Green, running those left sides more underneath the yellow, and that is going to be a pass there. Trevor Edwards back up to 2nd place, but it's not going to be a full clear, as Colin Allman's going to try and work that outside. A tough thing to do around this track with the lack of banking, but he's still going to be out there. That car might be able to make that stick, but it looks like he's just going to back out. Not going to force the tires to burn up this early in the race. He'll settle back in line and see if he can set himself up something a little bit later on in the run. Justin Crowe having a little bit of a struggle here. He's found himself half second behind the end of the line. You can see Colin Allman. There he goes, making that move, going to work his way around Braxton DeWeese, and just like that, back into the top 5 after coming down from 2nd place. Still amazing, Dylan Williams, as you can see here, all by himself. He has built himself a 3.5 second lead, and yeah, he's blinking out a little bit. But if we go to the wide blimp view, you can just see how far ahead he is. He has into turn 3. They are just exiting turn 2, or even like as he exits turn 4, they're just entering turn 3. He is a whole section of the track ahead of everybody else. It is very impressive what he's doing right now. As we see a move being made, Colin Allman is going to work his way around Cade Green, and that is back up to 4th place for the 67. Continuing to pick off driver after driver, trying to see if he can build up some momentum here to get up to the front of this line. And it's starting to look like Dylan Williams just has that raw pace here tonight. Aaron Johnson currently in 3rd place, trying to see if he can hold off the 67 of Colin Allman. It's a tall order to do, that's for sure. Riding on board here with Aaron Johnson. You can see Allman looking for all sorts of different lanes, trying to see what he can do and make the most of this track, carry the most speed around, and the apron seems to be where he's able to find some more of it. But because he has to push that car down a little bit further, doesn't quite have that same exit speed. The that you see Aaron Johnson has, but right there almost gets underneath, and that's where he's going to be able to find the lane, is maybe getting that entry, because he can really send it down through the middle of the corner, carries a lot of speed to the middle of the corner there for Colin Ullman. You can see getting closer and closer each and every corner, forcing Aaron Johnson having to adjust his line to defend that inside. Ullman again trying to take a look, nothing going to happen there. But he is not giving up. He keeps taking peeks, maybe going to try and force a mistake. Is again looking towards that inside. Can't quite get there on the exit onto the backstretch, but eventually I expect him to try and make that move down there. Good battling here between the 67 and the 1. He's Colin Ullman trying to see if he can make a move to the inside. Just can't see him to get that car down there enough. He gets close, but it's not close enough to be able to make a move to make the pass. A little bit further back, we got Braxton DeWeese and Justin Crow battling it out for 6th place. It just seems like not quite their night. Braxton DeWeese just doesn't quite have that pace. Justin Crow had a really good start for qualifying, just hasn't quite been there. Maybe the tires, he's waiting for that fall off, trying to save them a little bit longer. Because we've talked to a lot of drivers. Some of them say these longer races, it's all about the tire save. Trying to make sure you've got stuff at the end of the race. And we've seen that with some of the battles for race leads. But possibly that is the strategy here from Justin Crow. He might be down, but he is definitely not out. Looking up to your race leader right now. You look over the past couple of laps. We actually, let's go back to Trevor Edwards. That way we can make sure we've got a good connection here. You can see things have kind of turned the tide a little bit. He is now picking up pace on the race leader. It's not much, but he is slowly gaining. You can see that last lap, 1/10 of a second faster than Dylan Williams. Over the past couple laps, he's gained himself about 2/10. Very marginal gains, but if you gain eventually at like a 10th or so, they'll rein him in around lap 70. It feels like a while away, but when lap times are about 16 seconds, not going to take too long is for Green Flag Racing. Problem is, it's that consistency and being able to stay steady from Trevor Edwards to be able to catch back up right now, sitting at about 3.5 seconds back. Right now, nobody really making moves. Everybody kind of sitting steady, waiting for opportunities to come. Colin Ullman keeps getting closer and closer there to Aaron Johnson. Peeks to the inside, but can't get that car all the way to the inside. Almost had a look to make a pass for 3rd place to get back onto the podium. Cade Green's in the perfect spot, just waiting to see if a mistake is going to happen from either one of them. He's there to pounce if there is one. As we continue on, getting closer and closer to lap 50, Colin Ullman still keeps trying to make a look here to get around Aaron Johnson. Just needs to get that nose to the inside. Just doesn't have enough of a run on the exit to be able to close up some of that pace. He does a great job through the cornering. The cornering is there on that 67. It is tuned in to perfection around the corners. But it's the exits that he doesn't quite have that same speed. As you can see here, Aaron Johnson able to pull away a little bit. There's a little bit more exit speed. But if Ullman's just able to get close enough and get enough momentum on the exit, he can get side by side onto either front or back stretch. He's going to have an opportunity to make that pass on Aaron Johnson. You've seen he's made a couple looks here and there. Just can't seem to get close enough. Lap 50 has come and gone, and you can see that gap there between Trevor Edwards and Dylan Williams has continued to expand, now at 3.7 seconds apart from each other. But Dylan Williams, while he seemed like he might have been slowing down, seems that he picked back that pace again. Either that or Trevor Edwards has slowed down a little bit himself. But again, Colin Ullman, you can see still looking, using all that track. More and more apron each and every lap getting used up by the 67. Trying to see if he can cut this track as much as he can and try and find a little bit extra pace to find a passing opportunity. You look behind Cade Green, still being very patient. Honestly, for Cade Green, I think this is going to work out to perfection. His car is going to be ready to go when we get later into this run. If he's got a little bit extra pace, can definitely extract that to be able to make a move, maybe get himself to his first podium of the season. But right now, it seems like Colin Allman may be a little too aggressive throughout this run, because that car seems to be slowing down just a tad. Doesn't quite have that same momentum that it had, but he could be backing up to try and set up something here over the next couple of laps. They're trying to close up the gap to Trevor Edwards as well, but just aren't quite there. They're still about a half second behind him, while these two have been battling it out. Trevor Edwards has been trying to catch up on the race leader. That gap now almost 3 seconds. So over the past about 10 laps, he's gained about a half a second over Dylan Williams. He needs to continue to push, though, if he's going to try and close that gap up and make an opportunity to make a pass for the win. Checking in on the battle for 6th place, Braxton DeWeese and Justin Crow. They have spread out and have a good bit. Seems like Braxton DeWeese has picked up a little bit of pace. He's feeling a little bit more comfortable on track at this point, running the same pace as the drivers in front. Justin Crow, though, has fallen off a little bit. Similar pace, but just doesn't quite seem to have the same raciness that some of these other drivers have here tonight. Braxton DeWeese currently holding on steady in 6th place. We'll see if he's going to be able to maybe catch up to the rest of the field and make a move back into the top 5. But he's got about a second to go before he catches up with Cade Green in the 19. Taking a look back again with Dylan Williams now over the past several laps. He had that window of opportunity. You can see he was gaining time, got down to about 3¼ seconds out from Dylan Williams. And now over the past 5 laps has lost time again. Back to about 3½ second gap to Dylan Williams. It just seems like it's kind of balanced out at this point. There was a moment where it seemed like Dylan Williams had burned up his stuff a little bit. Trevor Edwards had a little bit of extra tire life. He saw that opportunity, started to push, and now at this point it seems like it's just kind of settled in. Looking behind, there was an opportunity almost for Colin Allman to make that pass for 3rd place. Gonna have to set that back up again here. He's been working really hard, trying to see if he can find a passing lane on Aaron Johnson, but Aaron has been doing a really good job defending, keeping that bottom line super steady. It's allowed him to hold on to this 3rd place position for about the last 30-40 laps. And this race quickly flying by. Already on lap 66 of 150. Could be our quickest race of the season. We'll have to wait and see. Cade Green falling off a little bit. You can see here, taking a look at the lap times between Colin Allman and Cade Green, about anywhere between half a tenth to a tenth of a second between these two drivers and Cade Green each lap. It just seems like Cade is just not quite maintained that same pace. He was doing a really good job there for a while. He was right there behind them, but now all of a sudden finds himself over a second back from the two of them. And possibly dropping back to Braxton DeWeese. Could be an opportunity for Braxton to make his way back into the top 5 here tonight. Allman keeps taking a peek to that inside. Just can't quite get that car there. Hopping on board. You can see just how close he's getting on some of these opportunities on the exits. But he's got to get that car to the inside is the problem. He just can't quite get the nose down in there. You can see trying here. You can hear getting on throttle, but it's just not enough to be able to get to the inside, make that move. Taking a look a little bit further back, Cade Green. Slowly falling back to Braxton DeWeese. About a half second out now. Or he is licking his lips and a little bit of action here with the 19 in front of him, trying to see if maybe he can gain a spot here again back into the top 5. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to happen. You can see a battle for 5th place there in the corner of your screen. How close they're getting each and every lap. As we cross the halfway point there, lap 75, now 75 to go. Dylan Williams still your race leader. He maintains a lead of about 3.5 seconds. Let's go ahead and go through our mid-race rundown. Once we see this pass here made by Braxton DeWeese, good move. That's going to put him up into 5th place. We'll see if Cade Green can have an answer for him to try and come back at him. Let's go through our mid-race break, where we take an opportunity to look through the running order right now and see where all your favorite drivers are at on track. Currently your race leader, and he's been your race leader for about the past 50 laps, Dylan Williams. He has built himself quite the lead. That car has some phenomenal pace, and it doesn't look like he's letting up anytime soon. Behind him is Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards currently sitting in 2nd. There's a decent gap back to the cars behind. Hasn't been able to lose them at all. He's tried. He's found some pace a little bit now. It seems like he's gaining time on Dylan Williams. But will it be enough to be able to close that gap? 71 laps remaining now as Dylan Williams crosses the line. Got a lot of time still to go, but he's got to start moving quick if he's going to close up that 3-second gap. Aaron Johnson has been holding on to 3rd place really well. Strong defense from Colin Ullman. We'll see if he can continue to hold off the back-to-back race winner here, as he's trying to get back to the front. He had himself up in 2nd place at one point in the 67. Currently rides around in 4th place. Would like to make it 3 in a row here tonight, but right now it just doesn't seem like it's in the odds for him. He's over 3.5 seconds back and has to work around a couple of drivers. As we've seen, passing kind of hard to do at this point. He's had a lot of looks at Aaron Johnson, just hasn't been able to make a move. And back here we've got the 3-way battle for 5th place, as Braxton DeWeese is now trying to hold off Cade Green, who unfortunately had some really good pace early. Has dropped off now late. We've seen, even in that last corner, a little bit of a slide there. Struggling for grip possibly in that 19. He's currently in 6th place, and rounding out the field here tonight, Justin Crow maybe making a move for 6th, possibly even 5th if he can play his cards right. Would work out for a 2-for-1. That is our mid-race rundown, our mid-race break. And taking a look, that gap to the race lead is getting shorter and shorter. 2.7 seconds. You can see over the past several laps, like we saw earlier, where we saw between Dylan Williams and Trevor Edwards, it almost felt like every lap we saw about a 10th or so coming off the board, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Trevor Edwards lost that pace that he had. So we'll see if he can maintain this. If he can keep this pace up, we might see a battle within the next 20 to 30 laps, setting us up for a good race to the end. Even Aaron Johnson, Colin Ullman are sticking with Trevor Edwards. They're both right behind, looking for an opportunity to pounce and maybe make themselves a race winner. Aaron Johnson, it would be his first of the season if he can get down into victory lane. Looking back here, the battle for 5th heating up as Cade Green trying to look to the inside of Braxton DeWeese. Goes a little bit later on the brakes. Is going to go a little bit deeper on the corner as well. Not going to be enough to get to the inside of DeWeese. Going to try again, but DeWeese uses just enough of that inside that he can't get that done. There he goes, a big send into turn 3. That's going to be enough to get him through. Justin Crow going to capitalize, moves himself up into 6th place. And now he's going to look to make a move on the 86. Or, sorry, on the 19. Let's go take a look. There was a pass made. Aaron Johnson getting passed up by Colin Ullman. Ullman finally working his way back up to the podium. And here's that pass. They come around turns 1 and 2. Ullman finally going to make that move to the inside. Has enough momentum on the exit. Going to send it real deep and just gets a real clean pass. Aaron Johnson tries to see if he has something back, but good defense from Ullman. able to block off the inside line there. While we have a moment, we got 58 laps to go. We're going to go ahead and turn off the mic. We're going to crank up the sound and let you guys get all the sights and sounds of Langley Speedway. We hope you enjoyed the sights and sounds of Langley Speedway. Less than 50 laps to go. And my goodness, that lead has shrunk down to just a second. Taking a look the past several laps, look how much time has been gained from Trevor Edwards to Dylan Williams. He's going to be knocking on that door here in the next couple of laps, possibly trying to fight for that race lead. Looking behind, he's also managed to lose a little bit of Colin Allman. Aaron Johnson seems to be really struggling for pace as he has fallen off almost a full second from Colin Allman. We'll see if Trevor Edwards can keep closing that gap, about a 3/4 lead right now from Dylan Williams. And he's going to have to put up some strong defense if he's going to try and hold on for his first win of the season. As the rate that we are going, we're going to have about a 40-lap battle for the race lead if Trevor Edwards maintains this pace that he's had. Which then can make things really interesting, because we could have ourselves a 3, maybe even 4-way battle for the race lead. Because if they keep battling, that'll allow Colin Allman to come on into the fight, as well as Aaron Johnson. But Aaron Johnson has closed that gap a little bit. Went from about a half second or so to just about a 1/4 of a second between him and Colin Allman. He's trying to close up that gap. Just doesn't quite have that same cornering speed that we see from Colin Allman. You can see he tries to get that car in there. He sends it deep, but then just doesn't really have much after that. But now that Allman doesn't have to look for the pass, he's able to focus on the exit as well. He's carrying more speed than he was earlier on the exits. Good run there out of turn 2. Set up that backstretch run. Dylan Williams, his gap now just 0.3 of a second. About a car length separates the 24 and the 32. And Williams is going to have to really set up some defense here, because he's going to have Trevor Edwards looking for a passing opportunity here within the next 2 laps. Now the question is, what is going to be the strategy here from the 32? Is he going to try and send it deep on an entry? Is he going to try and just work an exit? We've seen a mix of strategies. Dylan Williams made his passes on the exits. We saw Colin Allman make a pass earlier by going to the inside on turn 3. We saw Cade Green do a similar thing as well. But now we're also getting to the point of the race, as you saw when we were on board with Braxton DeWeese. You really have to fight the car. There is a lot of drivers really having to fight the wheel in order to keep the car straight. Oh, and speaking of that, there was a huge save there from Dylan Williams. That car sliding real hard on the exit of turn 2. Really having to be aggressive with the wheel now. Almost like you're driving a dirt car to be able to keep that car straight. Again, a little loose on the exit of turn 2. And looking on board here, watching from the 32, Trevor Edwards. At this point, if you see this, you're just waiting for an opportunity to make the pass from a mistake, but you don't want to take too long, because then you're going to allow Aaron Johnson and Colin Allman to get into this battle. You really don't want to give that up. Currently have yourself a pretty solid gap, and what a slide there from Williams. As very dangerous time to blink back in. And we're going to see Trevor Edwards use every inch of that apron almost to get down through turns 1 and 2. Side by side with Williams. And that is going to be able to get him clear, possibly looking through the rear view cam. Yes, he does. Race leader Trevor Edwards back up to the front. 34 laps remaining. Now Aaron Johnson going to see if he can take on Dylan Williams. Going to be all about capitalizing on a mistake. We saw Trevor Edwards do that. Good corner there from the one car. Going to try it again though, coming through turns 1 and 2. Looks to the inside. Not bold enough to send it there. As you can see, the 24 still sliding a little bit on the exit. He is going to be there. He's going to have to give that space to Aaron Johnson as they go through turns 1 and 2. So Aaron Johnson about a half second back here to Trevor Edwards. Does he have enough on those tires to be able to catch up with his teammate from EPI? And another thing we typically don't have to deal with, you can see lap traffic starting to come up. Cade Green currently in 7th place. He had a really good run earlier on, but the long run just hasn't been kind to him. He currently is just only about a second or so ahead of Trevor Edwards. So he might go down a lap here. Depending on how things go, he could possibly slow up our race leader. Colin Allman has worked his way around Dylan Williams. That puts him onto the podium. And it really is a shame. Williams was doing so well. The fastest driver on track for quite some time is now just dropped off. Unfortunately, the pace not quite there for the full 150 laps. He had it for about the first 100. And then that was all she wrote. So now it's a game of who's got the speed here at the end of the race. We saw Trevor Edwards close up that gap impressively. Aaron Johnson's going to see if he can close up a 3/4 second gap. He's worked his way around Cade Green. And now he just has his eyes set on the guy in front in the 32. The points leader looking for, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe his 5th race win of the season. That would be very impressive if he's able to get that done. Taking a look at the last couple laps here between Aaron Johnson and Trevor Edwards, you can see Aaron Johnson doesn't quite have that pace between him and Trevor Edwards. Edwards slowly building his race lead. He still have plenty of time to go, 24 laps. But you've got to keep this gap close if you want to try and make a move towards the end of the race. 23 laps remaining. And knock on wood, so far, all green flag racing. We have not had an incident yet. A couple cars getting a little loose, but nobody getting turned around. Will be our first green flag, checkered flag race. Will be our shortest race of the season as well, if we can complete this full green flag run. while we're watching this fight here as Aaron Johnson trying to close up that gap to Trevor Edwards. Make sure you join us next weekend, or next Tuesday, I mean, as we head back to, I believe it's Southern National, for our final Dash for Cash qualifier. My apologies. South Boston is actually where we're headed next week. We are going to South Boston for our last Dash for Cash qualifier, so make sure you join us for that. Top 4 finishers in the South Boston race will then compete for $100 at the Concord race. So we'll be going to that triangle. Very short track, very interesting. I think it's the most unique on the schedule for sure. The way that it's run, its banking is different in almost all 3 quarters. It's a really unique track, really cool track. But that'll be a really interesting race for our final Dash for Cash. We've had 2 different winners so far in our first 2. Trevor Edwards won our first Dash for Cash. Colin Allman won our second Dash for Cash. And so we'll see if we can have 3 unique winners, or if we will have a repeat winner for the Dash for Cash. After that, not much left in the season, as this is race 9 on the season. Just a little over a month remains after tonight. Make sure you join us on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to catch some bigger tracks, you can also check out the Online Motorsports Association Virtual Racing Championship. We have our playoffs going on right now for that series. Those are taking place now on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. They have switched from Sunday night to Saturday for the remainder of the season, just due to broadcast conflicts. But now 14 laps remaining. It'll be 13 this time across the line. Aaron Johnson has brought this gap down by about 2/10 on Trevor Edwards. He can try and continue this climb. He is working hard to try and get it, but he's got to really push every ounce of this mac and cheese machine. But I don't know if it's going to be enough at this point. It is impressive, though. These 2 have pulled away from the rest of the field by a long shot. It is a 6-second gap from Allman to Johnson. And then the rest of the field just all over the place from there. Braxton DeWeese moves himself into the top 5 as he passes Dylan Williams. Ooh, that car getting a little slidey coming around turns 1 and 2. And it really is a shame. In a matter of the 30 laps, this car went from being the fastest on track to almost going a lap down at this point. He might finish a lap down as we've got 10 to go. Here comes Trevor Edwards into turn 1. Aaron Johnson just does not seem to have anything for him. He brought that gap down to almost half a second, and now it's back to almost a full second at this point. 9 to go this time across the line here for Dylan Williams. And Braxton DeWeese came into the pit road. Did Braxton DeWeese run out of fuel? That is really unfortunate. He was having himself a really good run, and caution is out. Well, things just got really interesting here. Dylan Williams is up to 4th, though. I will say that. But Colin Allman spinning out of turn 2. Let's go check out what happened there with the 67. We know a lot of drivers struggling for grip. You can see that car really loose in the back end. Coming into turn 1, he just gets it too far around, can't save it. Brings out our first caution of the day. Man, I thought we were going straight from beginning to end without taking a caution, but who knows? Now maybe we could see another one after this. That'll get Colin Allman back on the lead lap. We should go green flag racing with, I would think, the lights are still on pace car, so it should be 4 to go. But we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Your running order right now: Trevor Edwards, your race leader. Aaron Johnson will start alongside him. Justin Crowe, then Dylan Williams. Cade Green finish out the top 5 in the lead lap cars. Colin Allman and Braxton DeWeese both are 1 lap down. Braxton DeWeese, we saw he came down pit road for a quick splash and dash. Need just a little bit of extra fuel to be able to make it to the end. But actually, it looks like we're going to go green flag racing with 3 to go. As we see Colin Ullman dropping to the rear. Remember, we do have overtime in the American Motorsports Association. And how that works is if we do get a caution within the last couple of laps, so if we anytime once we go green, if we get a caution before the white flag, we will go into overtime, stack it up again, and we have 3 chances to finish under green flag conditions. There's going to be a regular start here. We are not in overtime yet, but we'll see if we can take the white flag. If we take the white flag, the race is official, and we race back to the checkered. Trevor Edwards going to be on the inside. Aaron Johnson on the outside. We haven't seen anybody make moves on the outside lane. Could Aaron Johnson be the one and only to get it done? Benny the Pace truck driver in the infield. We are green flag racing again with 3 laps to go. Here we go. Aaron Johnson going to see if he's got anything. This is a perfect opportunity for him. Brought that gap from a second to a quarter of a second. He's got to push that mac and cheese machine real hard with Justin Crowe behind. Does Justin Crowe have anything to maybe move himself up into second place? 2 laps to go. Gonna be a tough climb here. Aaron Johnson just doesn't seem to have that same run off that we see from Trevor Edwards. As we get ready to come across the line, white flag is out, and we take the white flag. This race is official. Can Aaron Johnson give anything for Trevor Edwards? He's trying everything he can. Not gonna have it. Trevor Edwards is gonna come away a race winner yet again. A bit of a slump there, missing a few races in victory lane, but he is back there once again here tonight in the Langley 150. So a great finish all around. 1 caution. Very, very impressive. It looks like Colin Ullman had a spin. He called it for the night, but let's go take a look at our race results for tonight. Your race winner, Trevor Edwards. Aaron Johnson coming in second place. Should lock him into second in the points. Justin Crowe in third, with Cade Green in 4th. Braxton Deweese in 5th. Dylan Williams manages a 6th place finish. And then Colin Ullman, unfortunately, took the car behind the pit wall at the very end to finish out his night. Fireworks going off here in celebration for Trevor Edwards. We'll see if we can get our top 3 finishers here into the press box, or at least up into the booth. We can do a quick interview. Let's see. We need Justin Crowe, but I don't know if we've got him in. We'll go ahead and pull up Aaron Johnson here in just a second. Let's go ahead and pull Aaron Johnson up here. Oh, wait, maybe not. Never mind. There is Crowe. We'll get him up here. So we've got Justin Crowe, driver of the 86 machine. And Justin, 3rd place finish. I believe that's your best of the season. Congratulations on that finish. And just overall, it was a slow race for you, but you managed to keep your stuff together and got a good run there at the end.
Yeah, just from my my practice, I knew that the pace that the guys up front were running was a little bit much for me. This is a long race, and those tires really fall off. So I was just trying to manage, a little bit light on the car count tonight. So I knew that the cautions would be few and far between. So it's, you just got to play a game there. How far do you let them get out? And the setup was a little bit off from some adjustments that I made prior to the race. And, I didn't really have much there to catch up. Had the car spin to bring out the caution. So the 3rd place just kind of fell into me. So can't be disappointed with that.
Yeah, definitely a really good finish for you tonight. Going to be a big points day as well. Next week, we go to South Boston for our 3rd and final Dash for Cash qualifier. Last time we went to South Boston, you managed an 8th place finish. So what can you do differently to try and get yourself into that top 4 for a chance to win $100 at Concord?
Really just preparation, put in the time. Ryan Kuhn, RKM Setup Shop, built some great setups. So, usually just need to make some minor adjustments for driver preference and just put in the laps and, figure it all out.
All right, Justin. Well, before we have you head on out to celebrate your third place finish, anybody you would like to thank? Anything else you'd like to say?
Just RKM Setup Shop, Ryan Kuhn and the boys, put the time in and get some really fast short track setups, Pedley's Garage, and Splash and Go graphics for the awesome looking car.
All right. Well, congratulations again, Justin, on your third place finish, and best of luck next week as we head back to South Boston.
I appreciate it.
So now we're going to bring in Aaron Johnson, driver of the number 1 machine. Second place finish here tonight. He actually was the receiver of the Hard Charger Award as well, gaining 4 spots to finish in second place. And Aaron, that was a good run you had. You tried everything you could at the end. You just didn't seem to have that pace to try and make a move on Trevor Edwards.
Yeah, finishing second is getting kind of normal for me now. I'm just getting close. I just need one more spot.
Yeah, you've done really, really well. You put yourself in a great position every single time. It just doesn't seem to work out for you when it comes to the end. I mean, had we had the long run, maybe it seemed like you were gaining time, but it was like just very close. It would have been very close there at the end. But I asked Justin Crow about South Boston last time. Last time we went to South Boston, it wasn't a very good race for you. You got caught up in some incidents. So what can you do differently in preparation for South Boston to try and get into that top 4 for our Dash for Cash?
Just the main thing, just stay out of trouble. Just be smart. Just see what's on your outside and inside. Hopefully just be there at the right time. Hopefully
we can talk. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hopefully I could get one of these days.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully next week we can maybe talk to you in Victory Lane. That would be awesome. Finally see you get that one car into Victory Lane. You've been so close so many times, but it's going to bring you up to second place in the points heading into South Boston in the last handful of races. Before you head on out for tonight, anybody you would like to thank? Anything else you would like to say?
I got to thank Trevor Edward at the shop, the guys at Elite Performance Industries. They helped me a lot and everything. I wouldn't be where I'm at without Trevor helping me out. It's hard to beat Trevor. I'm trying, still trying. So we're close. We just need that one little thing to get around the boss man, and then we'll be there. And just want to thank everybody for watching. You've putting on the broadcast and the guys putting on the league. And that's about it.
Well, hey, hopefully we can talk to you in Victory Lane next week or maybe even at Concord. But best of luck to you next week at South Boston. Congratulations again on your second place. And that is Aaron Johnson, driver of the number 1 car. Now we're going to bring in our points leader, 4th-time race winner for this season. We've got Trevor Edwards, driver of the 32. And Trevor, that was a very impressive drive to bring down Dylan Williams. Almost a 4-second gap. What did you have in the car there at the end that managed you to reel in that big of a gap?
I saved a lot at the beginning because we ran Sara here, and I wasn't very good at the end of that race. So we kind of brought back a different package, but I didn't know, how long it would last. So I kind of wanted to save till lap 50, 75, somewhere around there. And just kind of took off around lap 60-ish, 75-ish, and it was catching him pretty quick. And then it looked like his head's right rear starting to go down or something like that. But yeah, this thing was really, really good. I'm really happy with this new package that we came with, and it's nice to be back in Victory Lane. I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah, you had a little bit of I maybe call it a slump there. A few races where you missed getting into Victory Lane. But it's a pleasure to have you back. That points lead is going to continue to grow here tonight with that race win. And then next week we go back to South Boston, a track that you just barely missed out on last time. You came in second place by less than a tenth of a second. So looking forward, I know cautions kind of played into it last time, but you also said the tires just quite weren't there for you. So looking at South Boston at night, what can you do in preparation to try and get this car back into Victory Lane for back-to-back wins?
I'll probably take a similar package to what we raced tonight. I felt like we were probably the best car there last time, and then just got caught up in those accidents. 2 or 3 times just getting wrecked, and it's hard to pass there. anyways on short runs. So I think we'll be fine if we can improve on what we were there last time. I think we'll be, right there for another race win, hopefully.
Well, we'll have to see if we can talk to you there as well. But again, it's a Dash for Cash qualifier. So a top 4 finish gives you a chance to earn $100 when we go to Concord. But congratulations again on your win. And before you head on out to celebrate your 4th win on the season, anybody you would like to thank? Anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, I just gotta thank everybody at the shop, man. Spencer Dickinson and Aaron Johnson, we tested last time, or I think it was last week, a little bit. We got a little bit embarrassed at Richmond or Rockingham by Colin, so I kind of lit a fire under us again to put some laps in, and I think we kind of figured it out tonight. I gotta thank Josh Cottle over at Cottle Captures. When he gets back from vacation, I'm sure he'll take some pictures of this for the Facebook page. Everybody over at EPI, if you need bad fast setups, just where to go. They're the best on short tracks right now for sure. Our NASCAR stuff's awesome too. The Team Conti guys, can't give them enough credit. Thank you for broadcasting this week in and week out. We really appreciate it. I love going back and watching the broadcast the next day at work and listening to it while I'm working. So I do appreciate that. And I gotta thank Jacob Hayes at Rockets iRace Wraps on Facebook. This is the second time I've ran this car, and the worst it's finished so far is second. So maybe it's got some good luck as well.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe next week will be the big test when we go back to South Boston. But congratulations again, Trevor, on getting back into victory lane and building your points lead even further.
Thanks, man. Hope to talk to you again next week.
All right, we'll talk to you then. That was Trevor Edwards, driver of the 32, your points leader, 4-time race winner here this season. But with all that being said, we want to take a moment to thank you all again for joining us here at No Name Gaming and Racing Lights Productions for the American Motorsports Association's Langley 150. Congrats once more to Trevor Edwards for taking the win here tonight. Join us next week as we head back to South Boston to race under the lights and do our final Dash for Cash qualifier. We hope you all enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I want to thank the AMA for allowing us to bring this race to all of you. Be sure to check out Racing Lights Productions on Twitter with @RacingLightsPro, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. You can also head over to the YouTube channel to check out any previous broadcasts you have missed. I am Alex Light saying good night to you from the virtual Langley Speedway. Thanks again for tuning in.